Today I'm out here in the snow smoking some hybrid bass. So I just caught these fish just 2 weeks ago actually, and we worked hard for them. Fished about 8 hours and finally got on just two big ones, and I have one here smoking here, the smoker. So they're just about done. They're about 140 degrees right now, so they're getting there. So the plan was to smoke it over apple today, so that's the wood I'm going to use. So I'm going to use charcoal, of course, and some apple wood to smoke this today. It's been on there for just about 2 hours though, so it hasn't taken a whole long time. We had some real thin slices and some bigger pieces too. The bigger ones probably aren't quite done. But now we had to do a whole lot of preparation beforehand. Of course, we had to brine it overnight. I wanted to change up the recipe a bit. Instead of doing something sweet, I wanted to do something a little bit more savory. So instead of doing what we usually do with whiskey and brown sugar, we're going to do something with soy sauce and lime. So we're going to change it up a little bit. But let's start back at the cutting and brining process, and then we'll get to smoking. The first thing I'm going to do is slice this up. Now since these were such big fish, we actually, when we filleted it, we included the belly meat. So you can see it's a very tall fillet. It's not just this upper part like we normally have for a smaller fish. And we got the whole thing. And since it's not real thick down here, but it's very thick down here or up here, I'm gonna cut it such that this is a whole separate piece, just so we're not trying to smoke this attached to this at the same time, because this will get done well before this. So let's slice this up. I am also going to cut out, the bloodline there right in the middle, because that tends to be a little fishier than the rest of it. Ashley and I both think hybrid and white bass in general, are just a really good tasting fish. They're firmer than crappie also, which is good. We like a firmer fish. Crappie tends to be kind of mushy, but these are in no way mushy at all. So just trim off little pieces here. So there's no pin bones in any of it. Yeah, looks good there. So let's slice this up into some smaller pieces. Just trying to get similar thickness all the way across, if possible. It looks good enough. And this one we can just do into something like that. So we don't have multiple thicknesses in one. We have one more fillet. This one needs a little bit more trimming. This fish was frozen, so it's still a little bit firm from that. Again, cutting out the bloodline of this one. Yeah, you can see how much darker that is than the rest of the fish, so I'm just going to cut that out. Good. Get one right here, right there. Okay, now that they're cut, we need to put them in a pan and brine them overnight. So what I'm going to use is I have some sugar, not near as much as I put in my previous batch. I want to make these a little bit less sweet than the previous time, so maybe 3 tablespoons of sugar. I also have some salt, about 3 tablespoons as well, and then soy sauce, about a similar amount. We also have the juice from a lime that we're going to use too. So we're going to start off with a little bit of salt in the bottom of this. Should be good enough. And then the fillets. I'm going to put the bigger ones on the bottom. So I shouldn't really have a need for too big of a second layer, but now we'll go ahead with more. So I'm going to start with salt. Back to the sugar. Put a little second layer on here just to get these in. And now pretty much the rest of everything, so sugar. I'll probably mix these around here a bit too. But then also the soy sauce, sprinkle that on top. So I'm going to brine this overnight, and as this goes, the salt's going to pull some of the moisture out of the fish, and it'll become less of a solid mixture here and more of a liquid mixture, so it'll kind of mix together anyway. But I will stir it with my hands after this lime juice. So Just gonna squeeze the limes. I do like sweet brines, but not so much with a hybrid bass. With this hybrid bass, I like to do kind of a less of a sweet brine and more of a savory one. Okay, now let's just mix this up a little bit, make sure everything's coated, get that unspilled. But anyway, I just thought soy sauce probably would have been a good addition to give it some more flavor, but without being too sweet, because definitely soy sauce is not sweet. So I'm just going to cover this and put this in the fridge overnight. I'm probably going to give it 12 hours just because of the timing. You can probably do less. I've done as low as 4 to 8 and it works just fine. But I'm going to put this in for 12 overnight and then we'll smoke this over some apple wood tomorrow. So should be good.
It is raining and snowing all at the same time. So I'm going to have to try to do this without getting everything wet. Got the fire starter in there, a little bit of charcoal. Look a little nicer. I can light this. A lot of people use those charcoal chimneys, but I don't really ever find the need to. I just light it up like this with the fire starter and it works just fine. Okay. Snow's nice and dense, sticking to everything. All right, let's open up all these vents. We'll let that burn for a bit, and then after that's hot, we'll go get the fish. Okay, just took the fish out of the fridge, and this is what it looks like. You know, we talked about all the moisture being pulled out of it, and you can definitely see that there's a lot in there now. So we're gonna rinse these off, put them on a tray, let them dry for about an hour, maybe put a fan on them just to help dry them, and then after that we'll put them on the grill. Okay, now we're just going to pat these dry, speed the process up a little bit. Alright, and we'll leave these sit here for maybe half an hour until the surface just gets a tad tacky. And after that, they should be all set to go on the smoker. And it's up to temperature. It's about 200 right now, so let's put this fish on. It's been about an hour, so the fish is a little bit tacky. I'm going to put it here on the left side of the smoker, furthest away from the heat source, because I'm going to smoke something else during the day too. So I'll put the bigger pieces of meat over there. Real thin ones can go very far over there because it won't take very long. Okay. So we're gonna smoke this at 200 for a while now. I'm not entirely sure how long it'll take. Last time it only took maybe 2 hours. But 200 is kind of high for fish. I like to keep it closer to 180, but it's hard to do with the smoker. But since it is so cold out and since it's snowing and raining, and it'll cool it off some. So we'll see if we can do that. But either way, I'll check it in like an hour or so, just verify that the temperature's good, and then we'll go from there. Okay, let's do a quick temperature check here. Good. Pay no attention to the brisket I also have on here. Let's check these bigger ones first since they're closer to the fire. So we're aiming for 145. This one's at 135. $145. That one's done. Interesting. Let's see. 135 and 145. So these middle ones are done. So let's go ahead and just place them off to the side. Check these thinner ones, see what they're at. Move these to the middle. It's just 115, so they need some more time. This one's really, really thin. 16. So move these up a little bit closer to the fire. Check one of these. And just 120 also. So, but let's take these two off and give these other ones some more time. So the first pieces are done here. So this is what it's going to look like when you break it open. Nice and flaky, but still not dry, right? So that's exactly what you want. Not good. Not too salty either. I was a bit concerned about that. But that's really good. And Ashley and I love to eat fish, and especially ones that we catch. You know, there's something even more special about it. Although, admittedly, I didn't catch this, nor did Ashley. My friend Drew caught this one, and I'll post a video at the end of this, at the end screen, so you can see how we caught it. Because that was a long day's work just for well, this fish. But either way, it was still a lot of fun. Now with this recipe that I did, if I had to do it again, I think I'd do more lime juice. Soy sauce was good. It's plenty salty. It's not too salty though, which is always something you want to avoid. I did about a 1-to-1 ratio of salt, sugar, and soy sauce, but then I only put the juice of 1 lime in it. I think if I did it again, I would probably do 2 or 3, because I think the soy sauce definitely overpowers the lime. It's still really good. I think the next time I'll just put more lime juice in. To make up for the not so strong lime flavor, just take a little bit of lime, squeeze it on top, and there it is. Alrighty, let's do another temperature check here. Alright, take those off.
Alright, so after 3-ish hours, it's finally done here. And we did end up liking this brine a lot better than the sweet one. And the lime was a nice addition. We like the soy sauce a lot better. And we'll probably eat this with some rice a little later. And it turned out really well, so good job.
Thanks.
And if you want to see more of this type of content, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel.